Goku and Whis were training in a parallel dimension the angel took them to. In that dimension, a combat took place, but this combat was a little different from the ones that used to happen between them. It was a much more serious combat. Goku was using his own version of Ultra Instinct, which he learned while fighting Gas, but there was something different about him in this fight. Goku was releasing an unnatural amount of power, and as a result, with each of his blows, the whole world shook. Usually, Whis faced Goku with so much calm that it even seemed like it was indifferent. But this time it was different. Whis kept his calm personality as always, but this time the angel was much more serious and attentive. Watching his disciples' every move, Goku was also very serious. He felt that there was something different in that fight, as if he felt that he was very close to achieving something that he didn't know what it was. Goku puts even more intensity into his movements, delivering blows with more frequency, speed, power, and precision. Goku feels his body vibrate and burn from the inside. He noticed that Whis was getting a little more serious too, and now he seemed to have to work a little harder to dodge his punches. At one point, Whis disappeared from in front of Goku to dodge an attack and reappeared behind him to attempt a blow that would knock out the Saiyan, but Goku instinctively ducks to dodge, leaving Whis surprised. And after crouching to dodge, Goku turns around, raising his body to apply a blow to Whis. The angel needs to dodge that blow. However, Goku's attack passes so close that it rips a hair from Whis, who's even more surprised. Whis walks away and Goku begins to emanate an absurd amount of energy, which begins to destroy the entire surrounding environment. As he observes this amount of energy, Whis is very surprised, and at the same time happy that Goku finally made it. From the middle of this energy, Goku's shadow can be seen, and when this energy dissipates, it is possible to see Goku's figure flying at high speed towards Whis, preparing a powerful punch. Whis takes it seriously, getting into a fighting stance. On Beerus' planet, Vegeta is training his Hakai with Broly. Broly is in the sky manipulating several tree trunks with his telekinetic strength. He uses his telekinetic strength to launch those logs towards Vegeta, who from the ground destroys the logs with his Hakai. Chilai, Lemo, and Beerus watch from afar. Chilai is sitting, bored, Beerus is lying in a chair, and Lemo is next to Beerus, serving him a bunch of grapes, like a true servant. Chilai asks what the point of this training is. She finds it very boring to watch, and also, it makes a lot of noise. Beerus explains that telekinesis is a simple skill, but it requires concentration and mind control, so it's a good type of training for Broly. On the other hand, Vegeta is practicing his Hakai. Suddenly, they are all startled with a gigantic explosion occurring in another region of the planet. The reason for that explosion was that the dimension Goku and Whis trained in was destroyed, and so Whis at the last moment opened a portal to take them back to the Beerus planet. But a part of that explosion ended coming along. Whis was protecting himself and Goku in an energy shield, so they land safely on the planet's ground. Goku is in his base form and badly injured, and this time even Whis had a few scratches and dirt on his clothes. In just a second, Whis magically heals Goku and restores his clothes. After that, they start talking about what happened, and Goku tells Whis everything he felt and asks if he can explain what it is. Whis begins to explain, telling Goku that the form he reached right now is simply the ultimate Ultra Instinct, the final stage of Ultra Instinct that only Daishinkan had achieved. Goku is completely shocked hearing this and asks what this ultimate Ultra Instinct is and how he reached such a level. Whis starts to remind Goku about the concepts of Ultra Instinct. First, he talks about the first concepts, which were to keep the mind calm and empty, letting only the body act on instinct. These are the concepts of the Ultra Instinct that he and the other angels use. Afterwards, Whis talks about the concepts of Goku's true Ultra Instinct, which is the form of the Ultra Instinct technique that he himself developed by accepting his own nature. And then Whis finally explains that the ultimate Ultra Instinct that Goku achieved was the merging of these two concepts. Goku has mastered the common Ultra Instinct of angels, which is to let his body obey its most natural instincts. On the other hand, Goku also mastered his own Ultra Instinct, which he developed by accepting his own nature and personality. Understanding and mastering these two forms of instinct led him to the ultimate Ultra Instinct, which is the purest form of the instinct. Goku asks why the angels couldn't achieve this instinct, as he said that only Daishinkan has this technique. Whis explains that angels live a life of completely rigid rules that dictate how they should act. In this way, an angel like him cannot live the way he wants to, but the way he should live, and this makes it difficult for him to understand himself. The Ultra Instinct that angels dominate is the result of their neutral lifestyle, which makes them disconnected from feelings. On the other hand, the fact of living a life with such strict rules and having to always behave according to those rules makes it very difficult for angels like him to know their own nature and develop their own Ultra Instinct style like Goku. In other words, for Whis to reach the form that Goku has, he would need greater knowledge about himself and this true nature, but he cannot do that living the way he does. Daishinkan was the only angel who achieved this supreme form of instinct, and his life predates the creation of all these laws, so he had a lot of time to discover more of himself and achieve his own form of Ultra Instinct. Understanding that explanation, Goku is a little sad for Whis, because now he realizes how much Whis and the other angels abdicate of themselves to live in the neutral way. But at that moment, Goku realizes something, and so he tells Whis that he has a form of Ultra Instinct that is superior to that of angels. Does that mean he is more powerful than the angels? Whis laughs at that question and says no. Even though Goku's Ultra Instinct is more advanced than the angels right now, the angels still have a much higher base power than him, which means that Goku would still be defeated by him and the other angels. And even though he has a technique that only the Daishinkan possesses, that doesn't mean that Goku is on the same level as the Grand Priest. This makes Goku a little disappointed, but at the same time he is excited to know that he still has a lot to learn and improve. Whis says that now he doesn't have much more to teach Goku, and Goku will need to learn more about his new power and evolve. Their conversation is interrupted when Beerus, Vegeta, and Broly join them. They are curious about what happened. Goku and Whis explain the whole situation, and knowing what happened causes different reactions in them. Broly is very curious about Goku's new power. Vegeta is very angry when he learns that Kakarot was once again distancing himself from him in power, and Beerus gets very serious and tense. Beerus tells Goku not to brag about his power, as he still isn't able to defeat him, but Goku disagrees and says that he is now capable of defeating Beerus, and he even wants his rematch against the Destroyer. Goku begins to concentrate his power, then releases a huge amount of energy while showing off his new transformation, leaving Beerus, Broly, and Vegeta impressed. With a very serious look, Goku asks Beerus to face him right now. Everyone else is very impressed both by Goku's power and his attitude. Among everyone, certainly the most surprised is Beerus, who can hardly believe that Goku challenged him so suddenly. He questions whether Goku has lost his mind, as if they fight on that level, all of Universe 7 could be destroyed. The Saiyan has the solution for this and asks Whis to isolate this planet, that way their power will not be spread throughout the universe. After asking Whis this, Goku again turns to Beerus asking if the Destroyer has any justification for not fighting. Beerus is provoked by this questioning, and then asks if Goku is implying that he is a coward. Without even waiting for the mortal to answer what he was implying, the God of Destruction says that obviously he accepts the fight, but warns the Saiyan that this time he will not hold back, which means that the possibility of Goku dying in this fight is very large. Goku does the opposite, saying that he will hold back in the fight and that he will be careful that Beerus doesn't die. This answer makes the Hakai even angrier. Whis tries to intervene, saying they should think better of it before going through with it, but Beerus does not listen to the angel and asks Whis to do as Goku asked, that he create a force field around the planet so that the universe is not affected by what will happen there. Beerus also asks Whis to fortify the planet's structure so that the environment is not destroyed so quickly by combat. Whis closes his eyes. He is disappointed to see that he won't be able to convince either of them to back down. The angel extends his staff, and around that planet, a force field is created. After that, he touches his staff to the ground. After Whis touches the staff to the ground, Vegeta and Broly comment that as if from one moment to the next they feel the ground becoming much more resistant, as if intense energy flows through the ground. Whis explains that he has injected some of his energy into both the ground and the entire environment of the planet, and this should ensure that the planet is not crushed under the pressure of the impacts of the struggle that is about to begin. After all this, Whis instructs Broly and Vegeta to walk away with him, and they do. Goku and Beerus are alone facing each other. Beerus tells Goku that he wants to see the power of this new Ultra Instinct he achieved. Goku informs the Destroyer that this technique is called Ultimate Ultra Instinct, and it will be with this power that Beerus will be defeated. Beerus loses patience and decides to start raising his hands and making a large curtain of dust rise from the ground through his telekinetic strength. Goku blows away all that dust with just the air pressure of an armful, and when the dust leaves his vision, the first thing he sees is a punch from Beerus already close to his face. But even with the Hakaishin's fist just a few centimeters from his face, Goku dodges, disappearing from Beerus' front and going behind him. Beerus immediately reacts by backing away at the same time as he turns around and launches a powerful energy wave at Goku, but he realizes he missed the attack when he sees the Saiyan behind him. Beerus jumps away and flies to a reasonable height while firing a sequence of ki balls that hit the ground and raise a large amount of dust. As he fires the many energy attacks, Beerus senses something and stops his flight, at the same time as he turns around, noticing that Goku is already standing behind him again. He immediately turns around to land a kick on Goku, which he dodges easily, and after that Beerus tries a sequence of blows that Goku also dodges with ease. Beerus advances towards Goku while attacking with constant blows, and the Saiyan dodges while retreating. They move a long way across the sky until they start to descend into the middle of the forest. Beerus had probably already tried hundreds of attacks before Goku got bored and caught one of his punches, stopping them both. While holding the destroyer's hand, Goku says that Beerus isn't fighting seriously. He knows this because he's seen Beerus fighting seriously when he faced the other gods of destruction, and he definitely is not fighting now the same way he did then. But upon hearing this, Beerus smiles and snaps his fingers in his free hand, and after he does, Beerus himself simply explodes. The explosion is so big that it destroys hundreds of trees around it. Whis, Vegeta, and Broly are watching the fight from afar, and the Saiyans are surprised by what just happened. Vegeta asks if Beerus lost his mind blowing himself up like that. Whis laughs and says that Vegeta is very foolish to think that a being with so many millennia of experience would lose so easily. Goku comes out of the middle of the explosion floating peacefully. He doesn't have a scratch, indicating that he escaped the attack. Beerus appears behind him while praising that he dodged the explosion very well. Goku responds that he wouldn't be defeated with such a simple trick. Broly is surprised to see Beerus okay and asks what he did. Whis explains that the moment he kicked up all the dust at the beginning of the fight, Beerus made a clone of himself containing a portion of his power. It was this clone that self-destructed. As he faced his opponent, Goku noticed that Beerus knew his tendency not to fight seriously against an enemy who wasn't using his full power. So he used the clone to make him drop his guard and self-destruct at the most appropriate time. Very clever. Beerus says yes, that was his plan, but is disappointed. He says that he knew that Goku wouldn't be killed with just that explosion, but he hoped to injure him at least a little, so that he would have to exert less effort in combat. Goku says no. This time Beerus will really need to push himself, and the Hakai must do it fast, before he loses his temper and fights seriously. Beerus comments that this time Goku is really serious, so he better stop messing around. At that moment, the God of Destruction begins to accumulate a large amount of power and releases a powerful aura of energy of destruction. Goku comments that finally Beerus is using the same amount of power he used against the other gods of destruction that time, but this time his ki is even more serious. As he does his combat stance, Beerus says that Goku asked him to take it seriously, and he will. Goku thanks him, while also doing his combat stance. Both charge towards each other, and they meet in a clash of fists whose force of impact immediately sweeps away a large section of the surrounding forest. Feeling that pressure, Vegeta and Broly are very tense when they realize that now that fight would get really serious. After their fists collide, Goku and Beerus keep their hands pressed together, vying for strength. Both emanate enough power from their fists to create several electrical currents around them, while white energy is released next to Goku and purple energy is released next to Beerus. After a few seconds of dispute, the winner is announced when an impact explosion occurs that pushes Beerus very far, making him fall from the sky and collide with dozens of trees in the forest. But in the next second, Beerus returns, reaching Goku with a blow sequence, which the protagonist dodges, but this time not as easily as before. Goku dodges one of Beerus' blows while moving to his back to attempt a soft spot attack, but he is surprised when the Hakai deftly dodges the attack and counterattacks with a very precise punch, with his fist coated with energy of destruction. Goku blocks the blow but is knocked back by Beerus' strength, and then an explosion occurs from where Beerus landed the punch, as if he had used the Hakai on Goku. The explosion is not powerful enough to seriously injure the protagonist, but it is enough to cause unpleasant pain and leave a few scratches on his body. Beerus smiles as he tells Goku he's not the only one who knows how to use Ultra Instinct, and even though he partially uses this technique, it's not something to be taken lightly. And while coating his hands with energy of destruction, he says that in addition to that, he can also use Hakai. In this way, not only are his defenses improved, but also his offensive. Goku smiles, realizing that this fight will be very challenging, just the way he likes it. Using his wits, Beerus tries a trick to get Goku hurt and thus need to exert less effort in combat. But he discovered that he will not be able to win this fight with that kind of subterfuge. So now, there is no option left for the Destroyer but to fight seriously against the Saiyan. The real fight starts now. In the sky, above the planet of the God of Destruction, Goku and Beerus face each other. The Hakai is surrounded by energy of destruction, and his fists are coated with this energy. Even far from the opponent, Beerus makes the movement of a punch, launching a sphere of destructive energy from his hand that goes towards Goku, who deflects and leaves a large mountain on the planet to be completely destroyed a few kilometers away. After launching this attack, Beerus takes advantage of the time for Goku to dodge and approaches him at incredible speed to hit a punch at the Saiyan, who dodges the attack with great skill and counterattacks the Hakai with another punch, which is also dodged by the Destroyer. But Beerus is smart and surprises Goku by grabbing his wrist with his tail, then points a hand at the mortal as he builds up power. Goku immediately reacts by also amassing power in one of his hands and pressing it against Beerus' hand. When both hands are pressed against each other, they release power at the same time, causing an explosion that sends them flying apart. Goku is the first to react, teleporting himself to Beerus' back and trying a kick, which is deflected by the Hakai, who notices the attack and crouches down. And after dodging the blow, Beerus points his hand at Goku and uses his Hakai in the form of a great wave of power that completely engulfs the mortal warrior. Beerus smiles and predicting that the Saiyan has escaped the attack and will go for his back again. He anticipates it and points his hand towards where Goku would appear. And when Goku appears behind him, apparently finishing a teleportation, the Hakai releases his energy in the form of a stake, piercing the protagonist's chest. But to the Destroyer's surprise, that Goku was just a mirage. The real Goku didn't move and took his attack head on. When Beerus realizes this and turns around, it was too late, and then he is hit by a strong blow from the Saiyan, which throws him very violently against the ground. From the ground, Beerus faces Goku with a smile, saying he didn't expect that. Goku returns the smile, replying that if he wants to fight someone as smart as Beerus, he needs to innovate in his combat tactics. They advance towards each other again and from afar, and their combat is seen only as multiple figures and waves of impacts around the planet. Vegeta, Broly, and Whis observe everything from a region of the sky. Vegeta and Broly are very impressed watching that fight, while Whis just watches everything very attentively like a scientist, analyzing an experiment. Vegeta comments on how much Kakarot's power has increased and comments that earlier he told Beerus that he was going to contain his power. Vegeta is having a hard time believing that Kakarot is fighting at this level and pushing Beerus like this while containing power, and asks Whis if this is true. Whis responds by explaining that for now Goku is holding back, but is gradually increasing his power as the fight progresses. Whis says that Goku is definitely still having trouble controlling this new transformation, so he's holding back for safety reasons. And as he discovers his new powers, he's unleashing more and more. The Angel even claims that although Goku seems very calm and confident, he's probably very afraid of losing control and ending up suffering damage because of all that power. If that happens, the fight is over in an instant. In short, despite looking confident, Goku is walking a very fine line right now. After hearing about Kakarot, Vegeta asks about Beerus. Is he really using his full power? Whis responds that Beerus certainly isn't sparing any effort in this fight, but despite this he is controlling himself not to over-release his power. Whis can't tell if the Hakai is doing this out of fear of wasting too much energy and getting himself into a bad situation, or if he's just trying to prolong the fight. Broly says that from what Whis is saying, Beerus could end this fight whenever he wants, but the Angel replies that this is not what he means. He explains that the fact that Goku is still adapting to this new transformation certainly gives Beerus the option to take advantage of this to try for a quick victory. But this victory is not guaranteed, so there is a risk that the Destroyer will try too hard for a quick victory and end up not achieving that victory. If that happens, Beerus will lose energy much faster, and Goku would be at a huge disadvantage. Based on everything Whis explained, Vegeta concludes that possibly Beerus is waiting for an opening from Goku, and when that happens, he will attack with full power, without hesitation. If that's the case, the chance of Beerus killing Goku in this fight are pretty high. Whis agrees and says that the God of Destruction's big ego won't let him accept the idea of defeat, so he will do whatever is necessary to win this fight, and that includes killing Goku even if he doesn't want to. Goku, on the other hand, doesn't have that kind of essence, so he's probably fighting with no intention of killing Beerus. Even though he doesn't want to show it, Vegeta is worried about Kakarot, and in his thoughts he tells his rival not to be a real soft-hearted idiot this time, for if he wanted to start a battle on such a high level, he must be willing to do anything to win. Goku and Beerus exchange intense blows across the planet, leaving trails of destruction across that territory. In this exchange of blows, Beerus is being more and more pressured, defending and dodging Goku's blows with a little difficulty. Goku praises the Hakai, saying that his mastery over Ultra Instinct is a little more advanced than he thought, but that still isn't enough to compare with Ultimate Ultra Instinct. After saying these things, Goku lands a hard punch to Beerus' abdomen, who notoriously takes the hit very hard. The Hakai gets angry and attacks Goku with a sequence of hundreds of blows, which the Saiyan masterfully dodges while retreating towards a mountain. And when Goku reaches the mountain and has nowhere else to retreat, Beerus ends his sequence with a final punch, from which the Saiyan escapes by resting his feet on the rocks and doing an acrobatics over the opponent, leaving only the stones behind him to be hit by the Hakai punch and explodes. After the mountain is blown up by his punch, Beerus stands there for a moment panting. Goku behind him, but at a safe distance, says that Beerus' Ultra Instinct doesn't compare to his, so the Destroyer's defensive ability is inferior. Also, although the Hakai gives Beerus great offensive power, all that power isn't as useful if he can't land his punches. What's more, it wasn't just Goku's defense that improved, but his offense as well. In short, Beerus is at a disadvantage in this fight. The God of Destruction stares at Goku with a weary smile and, remembering the first time they met, comments on how much Goku has evolved since that day. Beerus wonders if it was really wise to let Goku train with Whis for all this time, as he simply let a rival evolve to the point of causing problems for him. But after reflecting a bit, he says he doesn't regret it, as he finally found a rival who is being able to make him have an emotion in a fight. After some quiet thinking, Beerus tells Goku that it's useless to continue with this tactic of holding back, as if he continues like this, he could end up suffering a decisive attack from the Saiyan. At that moment, Universe 7's God of Destruction says that he will channel all of his power and will use his overwhelming power to subdue Goku, and he must be prepared for that. Beerus begins to concentrate his power and release his energy of destruction with such intensity that his skin begins to change color, and a strange symbol appears on his chest, something similar to what happened to Toppo in the Tournament of Power. The remnant of Beerus' energy, as it spreads through the surrounding environment, destroys part of the ground and trees untouched. Seeing the power his opponent is unleashing, Goku is impressed and also worried and excited at the same time. Whis, Vegeta, and Broly watch in surprise as the Hakaishin's power releases. Vegeta and Broly even feel bad about the density of the energy being released, while Whis comments that he is surprised that Beerus has finally decided to go this far. With his transformation complete, Beerus has a much fiercer expression, as if he were a true beast. He warns Goku to prepare, as he will now see the true face of Universe 7's God of Destruction.